Welcome to my $100,000 stock experiment, year 3, week 28, ending October 23rd, 2020. This isn't an endorsement to purchase any stocks that I've bought, nor an endorsement to purchase stocks in general. I'm on a mission to become a great growth stock investor, and I'm letting you watch me on my journey. Hopefully you can learn from my mistakes and celebrate my successes. According to the IBD at investors.com, the market is in a confirmed uptrend. The S&P 500 index is down slightly this week, down 0.5%. Even the S&P 500 is forming a cup with handle pattern like a lot of stocks are right now. I'm showing that at number 1, drawn in with that yellow dotted line. I'm having a super hard time making money this year, going up and down continually. I hope you're not having this hard a time. After 2 years and 28 weeks, my $100,000 has grown to $156,685. I'm basically down about $5,000 since last week. I lost just over $1,000 in my existing holdings. I lost about $1,000 in my 2 new purchases, one that I still have and one that I bought and sold in the same week. And then stocks that I held last week that I sold this week, I lost about $3,400. The weekly change for the S&P 500, like I said, was down 0.5% versus the Melissa method at down 3.3%. For my experiment year 3, which started mid-April, the S&P 500 is up 24% versus the Melissa method up only 8%. That is a drag. I'd like to be beating the S&P 500, at least double. I did make 2 new purchases this week. Shift4 Payments, I made a B2, and New Technologies, I think that's how you say it, NIU, I made a B1 and it sold a day later. Every time I purchase a stock, I put a stop limit order as my floor, initially at 8% below the purchase price. I try and leave it there for 4 weeks unless the stock makes a double-digit gain or the market's not in a confirmed uptrend. AMD, this is one of my loser stocks. I still have my floor at that 8% and earnings are coming up this week, so we'll see what that brings. I've held it for 3.5 weeks and it's down 2%. West Pharmaceutical, stock symbol WST. This is another one of my loser stocks. Again, I've left my floor at that 8%. It did have earnings last week and it didn't really move the stock much. I've held it for just under 3 weeks and I'm down 3.7%. Veeva Systems, stock symbol VEEV. I have 2 buys in this stock. One I've held for 4 weeks and it's up 5.3%, and one I've held for 1.6 weeks and it's down 2.6%. I still have my floor at my B1 at 8%. Every week I review my charts and see if there's a place to raise my floor. NVIDIA Corp, stock symbol NVDA. Last week I raised my floor and I left it at that point this week. I didn't change it this week. I've held this stock for 3.5 weeks and it's up just 0.1%. The pink line, which is the 8-day simple moving average, is starting to cross below the green day, the 16-day simple moving average. I'm wondering if this is a sign to sell, but it did close at the top of the range on Friday, so I'm going to watch it this week and see what happens. TFI International, stock symbol TFII. I've held this stock for 2.5 weeks and it's up 7.6%, which is great. It did have earnings last Thursday and seemed to go up on Friday and close at the top of the range. I did raise my floor on this to the 31-day simple moving average, and I'm wondering if I should be buying some more of this stock. I do like to add to positions as they prove themselves. I added a Shift4 Payments on Wednesday, stock symbol FOUR. Last week my B1 had been up 18%. This week my B1 is only up about 12%. So my B1 I've held for 3.5 weeks and I have a 12% gain. And my B2 I've held for the 3 days and it's down 3%. So it's a drag that it dropped after I bought it, but it still closed at its 16-day simple moving average. And we'll see what the upcoming week brings. Don't let a double-digit gain turn into a loss. Paycom Software, This stock, I have a double-digit gain in my B1. I've held it just about 3 weeks and it's up 13.7%. And my B2, I've held for a week and a half and it's up 2.8%. It does have earnings coming up in 10 days. And I did leave my floor where I set it last week. SailPoint Technologies, stock symbol SAIL. I left the floor on this one as well. It's up slightly from last week, but still going sideways in that range that I identified last week. My 8-day and 16-day simple moving averages are converging, but that's because this stock is a stair stepper. It seems to go up and then hold in a box pattern for a while, consolidate, and then jump up again. So I'm hoping for a jump up. I have a gain on my B1. I've held it for 3.5 weeks and I'm up 10%. And my B2, I've held for just about 3 weeks and I'm down 2.5%. I did sell quite a few stocks this week. My B1 and my B2 in Datadog, my B1 in DHI and DocuSign, my new stock NIU, I bought and sold, and then SLP also sold. Datadog, this is a big ouch. The previous week I had an 11.2% gain on my B1, a 6% gain on my B2, and I had made a B3 that I sold for a 7% loss. This week, my B1 sold with a 1.5% gain. I had held it for 3 weeks, and my B2 sold for a 6% loss. New Technology, stock symbol NIU. I'd held this in another account and it was doing well, so I bought it for my Melissa Method experiment and it tanked. I bought it on the 21st and sold it on the 22nd for a 7.5% loss. I raised the floor on a few of my stocks up off that 8% floor before the 4 weeks was up, and a bunch of them triggered the sell. This is one of them. Simulations Plus, stock symbol SLP. I held it just over 3 weeks and I lost 3.6%. DocuSign, stock symbol DOCU. This is a stock that I had raised my floor on within the 4 weeks and it triggered the floor, but it never hit that 8%. So I'm wondering if I should be leaving my floor at 8% for 4 weeks or if it was good that I got out of this one. I held it for 3.5 weeks and I had a 3.6% loss. DR Horton, stock symbol DHI. I'm not sure if this one would have triggered my floor at 8% or not. It doesn't look like it, but I had moved my floor up like the other ones and I took a 3.6% loss on this after 3 weeks. My current holding bar chart shows 1 bar for each week or a portion of a week that I've held the stock. The dashed black line is my $10,000 purchase, and the 9,200 yellow line is my 8% floor, so nothing should be below that floor. The ones above the dashed black line have a gain. I put a gold star on the stocks I thought were performing well, and a second gold star if they were there the previous week. And the X's are on stocks that aren't doing so well. AMD, I just put an X on this week, and West had an X last week and this week. The current dollar value gain shows my gain or loss on my $10,000 initial purchase. I have 2 loser stocks here this week, West and AMD, and then I have 3 stocks down at the bottom that have more than a 10% gain, Sale, For, and Paycom. I also take a look at the weekly percentage change for the week and I sort it with the losers on the top. The red box is showing the stocks that did not beat the S&P 500 for the week. And if I have a blue box next to it, that shows how many weeks it did not beat the S&P 500. So West hasn't beaten the S&P 500 for 3 weeks, and AMD hasn't beaten it for 4 weeks. My industry and sector breakdown shows that I'm heavily concentrated in software, but not as heavy as I was last week. A bunch of my software stocks sold. I put a number 2 on all of the stocks that I have B2s in. And I have quite a bit of cash, almost $49,000 in cash. But since I'm getting stopped out of so many stocks, I don't really know if I'm going to be making many purchases in this upcoming week or not. Thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for my next episode, or better yet, subscribe to my channel, The Melissa Method. Don't forget to hit the bell if you want an alert when I post a new episode.